Well, let's do a night shift, shall we?
Wait. Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. If this is your first time here, I'm a very silly, scruffy trader. And why is that? Well, it's crouching on 11 o'clock at night, and I've been at the chart since 6 o'clock this morning. However, I opened my little mouth and I said to the guys in the Scruffy Squad that I would do the night shift. And why am I doing that? Well, it's kind of to help one of them out. So it's a little salute to McNeil, but also all of the guys who I speak to in and around the world in different time frames. Because obviously I live in the UK. I should be nicely tucked up in bed now. But for the guys on the other side of the planet, their day is just beginning. And one of the questions I'm asked all the time is, how do you trade certain time periods? Well, a while ago, I did the Asian session. I found it quite hard work, to be honest, just because it's slower. However, if you start applying yourself and thinking about it, chart's just a chart. And I guess the way to trade the time frame is pick the right product in the first place. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me flick the screens over. We'll have a little look. Now, these are my go-to products, what I look at all the time. And the one I'm interested in, you'll probably not be able to see it too well, is this one in the top corner, which is oil. So I'm definitely going to be trading oil today. All right. Or I'll rephrase that. I'm going to be looking at oil. So let us drop oil on. Okay, let's get rid of this. Now this product interests me. I like the look of this. Now what else can I look at? Now let's get rid of all of these because we're done with these today. And if you saw the videos today, you'll see that I'm out of every position. And that is what I did today based on sort of the criteria that I'm about to look at again tonight. Okay. So let me have a little look, shall we? So we've got oil. Indices. Which indices are going to be running this time of night? Well, there's definitely going to be the Japan, the Nikkei. So we'll have a look at that. That's interesting. There's a nice spike that we can possibly work with. And the Australian 200. So we can work with that as well. Okay. So we've got two markets straight away we can look at. And what about Forex? Okay. Well, the Aussie JPY will definitely be awake this time of night. So we'll have a look at that. What else can we look at? The Aussie New Zealand will be awake against each other. And New Zealand JPY. So why have I picked that particular basket of product? Well, it's very simple. What they are products that will be sort of alive this time of night. Another one is gold, but I'm already in gold, which is on sort of my 5%, which there it is there, and it's running quite well. It's triggered in, and I'm looking for it to move up. We're currently at closing on about 650 in profit.
No way!
So while that's in the background, I'm going to concentrate on these. Now what I'm looking for, probably around 10-15 pips, and then I'm done. All right. That's all I want. So I'm going to have to look for the product, see which one I like the best, and then trade it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the camera because none of it's kind of ready just yet. I'm going to toddle off and make a coffee, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick one of these, and then I'll trade it for you. Okay, that's the plan. So catch you in a moment.
Well, we're waiting.
Okay guys, I'm back. Got my coffee. You all know Scruffy likes it, coffee. And he needs it tonight. Trust me, he does, because he's knackered. So let's flick this back over. I've done a little bit of work while sorting out. And the guys are already sort of sparking up, seeing what I'm interested in, etc. And I like to give a heads up. So I've dropped the bias in. I've selected a bunch of products as we've seen, and two of them are sort of showing signs for the next hour. Aussie 200 and New Zealand JPY. So quite happy with that. Question is, why should I trade? Well, let's have a little look, shall we? So this is the New Zealand, and then we have this one as well. Now this one's already off on a rocker. We can see that 65 might just say get a few pips into this one, so we'll look at that first just while we're on. Yeah, okay, this one looks quite nice just yet. So if we look at this, we can see that it's pushing up. There was indecision here off a level. It's a bit tight into this level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop an order in on this, but just for 5 pips. Okay. Nothing exciting. Just we'll drop a 5 pip order in above it. And we'll just let that one kind of get on with it. Let me just drop this to 5 minutes. I'm gonna just move that down onto the top of there, give or take. Okay, there we are, we're in. All right, so I'm just gonna let that get on with it. Okay. It's not a trade I would normally take. However, the Asian session is slightly different than the London session. I'll explain that in just a second. It has a tendency to trend a little bit more. So the idea here is just get a few clicks, and I'm going to look to trade in this range. So there, up, boom, and then take it from there. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that to run. It's just a little bit extra, but this is the one I want to concentrate on. Okay. So just move this up slightly. And why is that? Well, if I pull this out, we can see this fantastic thumper here. It's an absolute beauty. So we can start caging in the price quite well. So you can see it's bottomed out there, and there's kind of a top here, but it's more this bit that I'm interested in. So if I just put another set of lines there, just like so, that's given me a good arena. Okay, I quite like that arena. If I move it down slightly, I've got plenty of room to catch the tops of this, which gives this a nice buffer zone. And it's breaking out the tops here. So I quite like that as well. Take this down into 15 minutes. Well, you can see the push up. Strong. And then if I take it down into 5 minutes, I can see it's starting to build up momentum. Now, there's no point doing a candle count because it's pretty straight up. So what I'm looking for is a breach of what's going on right now. So I'm going to put an order into this as well. So give me just a second. Put that in just like so. Boom. Right. We are building up a nice picture. Let's pull that down. Kind of roughly want to get into this pretty. There. Okay, that's in. There we go. So we've got plenty of room to get up to say this level. So that's a good trade. I only won about 50 quid tonight. And why? Well, done all right today. Don't really need to go mad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the trades running, and I'll come back to you when they're done, good, bad, or indifferent, and we'll just sort of see how we get on. So catch you in a bit. Okay, guys, it's late on. It's coming on to 10 to 1 in the morning for me. And I'm getting a signal to get out of this. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got nothing running but this. Just a second. Yeah, cool. Right, we're out. Now, we are net positive. There we go. Sacrificed that. But I'm not bothered. And as you can see, the candle is starting to turn. Now, it may just come back down onto the cluster and then push back up. But I'm absolutely knackered. And when you're tired, you make mistakes. And I got in a little bit too early on this. The premise was still correct, as we can see. But it thumped down and then came back up. Put a little bit of madness in. That's what helps you. In other words, just stage your orders a little bit and you get more money. Simple stuff. The other trade we were looking at was this one. Again, it's done what I thought it would do. And if we look through, got some money out of that one as well. That is that. All right. But because it was in and around this level, I didn't want to push it too much, even though I still had a premise it was going up. But you often see me wrap a zone around this, and the idea was it to penetrate into that zone 5 or 6 pips. And the reason why it was a smaller target on this was because the spreads are quite big. So instead of going for 10, you half it, and then it allows the spread to oscillate. Although it would have caught it. So there we go. Both analysis was correct. Got some money out of it. as you can see. So I've got a pretty, well, I don't have to do a lot tomorrow. Might even have tomorrow off, who knows. So that's it, guys. I traded it just to help, but also to show you that it's possible. You can trade whenever, however. What you need to achieve is a sensible target. In other words, if the market's slower, calm it down, but also pick products that are relevant for the time frame that you're looking at. And when I mean time frame, I mean the time session that you're looking at. In this case, it was Asia. So I was just looking for something that was open on that side of the world. So it's the Aussie markets, the Kiwi markets. Marry them up with JPY because there'll be interaction going. Then you have world drivers, oil. Have a look at oil. It's a 24-hour market, constantly works. And then back to some indices. And the indices are the ones that are active at this time, which is the Nikkei or the Japan 225, depending on what broker you're using, and the Australian 200. Simple stuff, guys. So that's it. I'll do it again, and if you've got requests, just shout and I'll trade it for you, and hopefully it'll inspire you with your own trading. But just before I toddle off, the one thing that'll make or break you as a trader is whether or not you're going to gamble or trade. And I'm saying this directly at those that like to scalp, because you only want 1 or 2 trades a day, but good ones. If you're trying to go into the market over and over and over again, the market will take it off you really quickly. So that's the best advice I can give you. So I'm going to bed. I'm knacked. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.